Hello everyone, my name is Matt Santangelo. I have the honor, privilege, and responsibility of being the executive director of Spokane Hoopfest. Thanks for coming out to the Living Stage. Living Stage, the concept a little bit is kind of twofold. Really, it's one about talking about your passion. So I'm going to talk about a couple passions of mine. One is the game of basketball. The other one is the organization I work for, and that's Spokane Hoopfest. So to give you a little bit of scope to get started, I'm going to talk about Hoopfest itself. For those of you that are from Spokane or in Spokane, you may be familiar with the event. It's a big one. For those of you that may be listening somewhere else in the country, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction, overview of what Hoopfest is all about. Spokane Hoopfest is the largest basketball tournament in the country. It's played 3-on-3. It's played in the streets of Spokane, literally in the downtown core. It is truly, truly one of a kind. And what I mean by that, I'm going to have to throw out some numbers here just to give you some scope and some breadth of what Hoopfest is really all about. Hoopfest is played the last weekend in June every year. It turns 28, June 24th and 25th this year, but it started in 1990. It was founded by two men. One had a passion for the game of basketball and also had a passion for 3-on-3 basketball in the streets. He played in another event in D.C., wanted to bring it back to Spokane, so he brought it back to Spokane. He really, really was enthusiastic about having Hoopfest in the downtown core of a city. So he didn't want to have it in a fairgrounds or, a parking lot, for example. He really wanted to be able to shut down streets and have it on the streets of a city. So he wanted to have this 3-on-3 tournament called Hoopfest. The second founder really had a passion for Special Olympics. So Spokane Hoopfest is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So we benefit, the primary beneficiary of Hoopfest is Special Olympics. So when this was started in 1990, it started with 512 teams. For a 3-on-3 tournament, that's good size. That's a good size. 512 teams, 4 players a team, a couple thousand players. It's pretty good. Well, Hoopfest now is almost 6,000 teams large. So it is by far the largest in the world. So that means 24,000 players roughly, and we estimate about 250,000 people come to Spokane, downtown Spokane, on Saturday and Sunday. So what does that equate to? Again, I'm just throwing numbers out here at you, but about a $46 million economic impact to the city of Spokane and the region. So it's significant. By a few more examples, last year in our registration, we had over 41 states represented in our registration and over 4 countries. So literally people are coming from all over the world to our region here in Spokane, Washington, to be able to celebrate the game of basketball. Now, backing up and giving you some scope on the game of basketball. In order to get to 6,000 teams, you really have to have all levels of players. So this isn't just for your elite athlete, right? This is for your weekend warrior. This is for men and women who really enjoy playing basketball. And it is also for men and women that maybe never played basketball before, but they come out and really celebrate Hoopfest with us. So we start age group, incoming 3rd graders, right? Incoming 4th graders. From 3rd to 4th grade is the first summer that you can play in Hoopfest. And I believe last year our oldest player was 91 years old. So if you have a passion or enthusiasm or excitement for the game of basketball, you can come play at Hoopfest. It doesn't matter your level. From recreational to competitive to elite, we have a place for you at Hoopfest. So it's a really, really, really big tournament. Now to back up, I told you I'd talk about 2 passions today. We talked about Hoopfest, tried to give you a little bit of a scope of the numbers, the breadth of what the Hoopfest, the event is, but I also want to talk about my own history with the game of basketball. Okay, so in order to do that, we got to go back a little bit. So real quick, grew up in Portland, youngest of 9 kids. I got 5 sisters and 3 brothers. So from very young age was very, very obvious to me that I was a part of something much larger than myself individually. So maybe a team, family, community, something like that. In 3rd grade, I started playing basketball. In 7th grade, I started playing year-round, and that led to a lot of different opportunities for me. I played very competitively throughout high school. It gave me an opportunity to be recruited to come to college. And as a matter of fact, I played at Gonzaga University on a full-ride athletic scholarship. So this was a Gonzaga of many years ago. So our group we were very fortunate here in Spokane. We were the first group to be able to take Gonzaga on the national scene. So in 1999, we went to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. In 2000, we went to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. And that was kind of the launching pad for what Gonzaga has become from a athletic department and basketball program. So really, basketball has been a huge part. After Gonzaga, I had an opportunity to go play in Europe. So I played for parts of 7 seasons. I actually got paid to play basketball when the checks cashed. But really fortunate. So I've had a love affair with the game of basketball for a long time. Stopped playing right before I turned 30 years old and moved back to Spokane. Worked various industries, but found my way back to the game of basketball through Hoopfest, 4 years ago. This will be my fourth Hoopfest in June. So really passionate about the game, really passionate about the community, and this is a great opportunity to kind of be involved and engage in the community while doing something that I really love, and that's kind of sharing the game of basketball. So what does this mean for you that might be watching? So there's a couple ways to get involved. And I encourage any and all of you that are watching to consider coming to Hoopfest next year if you're not in Spokane already or in the region. And you can do that for one or two reasons. One, to come play. Like I said, 41 states represented, multiple countries. It's larger than life. It's really hard to describe unless you can lay your eyes on it. But it's a great community event. It's a great way for anyone who's looking for, obviously basketball is the easiest one, but everyone's talking about experiential vacations, where you're not just going and sitting somewhere, but you're actually actively doing something. Hoopfest is a great way to do that. Obviously, we have it's a showcase for the city and the region. It's every walk of life imaginable down in the downtown core over that weekend. So it's just a really vibrant, enthusiastic, energetic weekend around the game of basketball. The other way to get involved, and this is a kind of an immediate call to action, if you will, and this is for this Hoopfest, if you're in the region or certainly in Spokane, is through volunteerism. So we talked about Spokane Hoopfest as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. There are 7 staff that work in the office year-round, and we work on Hoopfest, the tournament, as well as several other programs, with Hoopfest being the largest of the programs we work on. But it's really done on the shoulders of volunteers. About 3,000 volunteers to execute this great world-class event. So it is all about the mobilization of the community. And without those volunteers, this event doesn't take place. There's just no way to candy coat that or soften that great message. So for those of you that are in the region or really passionate about community and you want to see what the strength of a community can do, come out and help us with Hoopfest. Again, there's nothing quite like it, and there's a lot of different ways to get involved, from volunteering at our master scoreboard to volunteering in the Hoopfest store to the granddaddy of them all, volunteering as a court monitor, which means you're on the court kind of helping manage games. And again, you're not refereeing, you don't need a ton of basketball experience, you're just really helping manage some a soft set of rules and managing time. And of course on concrete, a lot of people playing competitively, sometimes it can escalate a little bit, so you're kind of helping mitigate some of the intensity of being in a competitive sport for a weekend. So there's, again, a lot of great ways to be involved. And if you can't be involved on the weekend, there's also other ways to volunteer in the weeks leading up as we try to execute and get ready for this 250,000 people coming to Spokane. So a lot of different ways to be involved. Now, when we talk about, all these numbers, again, it's really hard, kind of the scope. And I'll give you an example. We have great partners, great, global companies. Nike is a great partner. A couple years ago, we had ESPN Sports Center here on the weekend. And they always come up in April and May about this time, and then we give them a tour of Spokane, and we say all these great things about Hoopfest and the number of teams and number of courts. And they kind of look and they smile, because, these are big global companies. They've seen the best of the best everywhere in the world. And they always come back in June. And when they get back in June, we try to say, remember what we told you? And they go, yeah, we've seen everything before. And they get here and they look around, and they go, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. Like, these numbers that you were telling us are really impactful, really powerful. It's really big. And so, like I said, these global partners that have seen the best, the biggest markets, the LAs, the Phoenixes, the Vegases, the San Diegos, they come to Spokane and they're blown away by the power of what this community does and what they're able to pull off each and every June in this great showcase event of Hoopfest. So it really is, until you lay your eyes on it, it's really kind of hard to understand or describe the breadth of what this event is. So we talk about Hoopfest, the event. That's a big one, right? Come play, come volunteer, just come hang out. There's a lot of different ways to see it and enjoy it. But in order to really appreciate what our organization does, we got to talk a little bit more about some other programs, and that happens throughout the year. We run a program called Spokane AAU, Youth Basketball League, about 150 teams, 4th through 8th grade. You guys see that puppy? I should just bring up the puppy, get everyone to volunteer with that thing. Come on up here. What a cutie. So, Spokane AAU, 4th through 8th grade boys and girls youth basketball. 150 teams. It's a 12-week season, championship weekend, all-star game, and also 3 regional tournaments. For those in the area that have youth basketball players, again, male or female, come hang out with us. Come hang out at our Boo Ball tournament, our Santa Slammer tournament, certainly the spring shootout tournament. Lots of different ways to be involved in basketball here in our region, in our community. Another program we're involved in called Ignite Basketball. This is an outreach program. This is for our public school district in partnership with our public school district here in Spokane. And this is a program that's done for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, boys and girls. It's free to the athletes, and it's just a way of engaging the kids through the game of basketball. This is a 6-week program with 4 Saturdays of games, and this is where we bring in community speakers, community leaders to be able to talk to their kids and their families, as well as we play 3-on-3 Hoopfest style basketball. So again, just a way to engage young men and women on a Saturday night when they could be out doing other things. We try to engage them through the game of basketball so they're doing something productive with their time. We're also involved in a couple other things. One is a high school traveling elite team, Eastern Washington Elite. That's more the more competitive elite young male athlete that has aspirations of going on past high school. We help support that and coordinate that out of our office. We are involved in another 3-on-3 event, a little thing called Las Vegas 3-on-3, that we started that one last year in partnership with MGM to be able to take a Hoopfest style event literally right off the strip in Vegas. And that's in the fall every year in October, and then we'll have it again this year. So there's another way to get involved in the 3-on-3 tour. There's possibilities that we continue to expand a little bit, maybe add another city on the Hoopfest tour in the next year or so. So we're excited about that. And then, one of the last pieces that we do is around our own grant giving. We talked about our primary beneficiary, Special Olympics. We always like to be able to support those athletes and those programs. Both through Hoopfest itself, allowing those athletes to play, as well as financial fundraising for them. That's been a part of our mission since day one here at Hoopfest. And so that's one. And so we also have a grant writing process for these young teams or usually teams tied to basketball that may request funding from us. It doesn't happen every year, but we really try to be intentional and about how we give back to the community. One of the great ways we give back to the community, and it's been almost a year, but it's community courts. So in partnership with Parks and Rec, here in our area, in our region, we actually build Hoopfest basketball courts. So anytime you're in our area of the world, here in Spokane, Washington, and Eastern Washington, you drive by a park, you see a Hoopfest backboard, that's a court that Hoopfest built and now maintains. And we have about 31, 32 courts if you count. I count generously, so there's probably 32, 33 courts that we manage, maintain, and have built for everyone who loves basketball to be able to get out. And when you have days like this, for those of you that are around here, the weather hasn't been like this very often, but today is gorgeous, 80-plus degrees in May. It's fantastic. The courts, our community courts, are going to be alive with ball players getting ready for Hoopfest next month and just getting outside and being active. So that's kind of the breadth of the organization itself. It's busy, it's active. We really, we're tied to a great city game, an urban game in the game of basketball. Again, one that I've had passion around for a long time. But we really pride ourselves on our ability to move culture. Really try to be cutting edge. We really try to be progressive in how we partner with our great sponsors and partners, and certainly how we represent the game of basketball, the city of Spokane, and the greater region of the inland Northwest. One great way, an innovative way that we've decided that we've partnered is really through our partnership with Nike. So we're one of the few companies that have this great partnership where we can actually print the swoosh, which is pretty cool. So they're a great partner. And this, for example, they develop a custom basketball just for us each and every year. So this will be this year's next month, the official game ball for Hoopfest. And this year, one of our themes, kind of design themes that we're really playing in is the cityscape, really trying to highlight the downtown core of Spokane. So you'll see some great landmarks, the pavilion, some street names, the clock tower, certainly the carousel, Washington Water Power Building. For those of you that are familiar with the area, you know these kind of iconic scenes from our downtown area. So really try to highlight the cityscape because we're a city game, and certainly Hoopfest is a city event. So we really want to kind of honor that heritage of what it means to be downtown, and that's what we do through kind of some of our partnerships and some of our creative design. What's that? Oh, and social media. God, where would I be without social media? I could talk another 20 minutes on my thoughts on social media, and don't give me a beer, because then it'll be really good. But social media, of course, is a big way that we communicate our messages, communicate, what's going on in the Hoopfest world. And we got it on all major platforms, so that's on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. The handle's at Spokane Hoopfest. Please follow us, like us, all the other stuff you do on social media. But come check us out, because that's where we get a lot of our information out there about what we're doing, new, old, and exciting. So please follow us there. You can also find all the information you want on our website, www.spokanehoopfest.net. Nothing but net for the basketball people out there. So you get that connection, nothing but net. But come check us out there as well. You can get lots of information. Yes, sponsorship. So what do we say? Play, volunteer, sponsor? That's it. If everyone listening just did one of those three things, that would make my time on the stage talking to my good friend worthwhile. Okay? So for all y'all out there, just one of those three things: play, volunteer, sponsor. But sponsorship is certainly really a vital part to our organization. But it's really important. We are a nonprofit, and you heard me say that before, but we don't ask for donations. We ask for partnership. I think there's a tremendous amount of value in partnering with Hoopfest. Like we talked about, the ton of demographics, the ability to activate inside of a kind of a captured audience for the weekend. And the biggest thing is really that emotional engagement, that engagement. I think when you talk to the big companies and people who are very active with their brand, they don't just want to necessarily put their name on a billboard. They want to be able to activate. They want to engage with people, and we have that. We have the people. They're all downtown on that weekend, and it's a great opportunity. But that's not the only way. For those that do just want that brand recognition, from court sponsorship all the way up to major sponsorship, there really is a number of different ways to become involved, to really expose your brand, your messaging to the greater Hoopfest world. And we also we talked about that social media following through our e-newsletter and our blog. We have a very active audience. People really want to see what we have to say. They take, our message is credible. We're a credible brand as well. So it gives you, just for those corporate sponsors that want to get involved, you just have to know that there's a ton of value in being able to partner with Hoopfest and have us help you tell your story. Yes? Oh, trending number one. Who doesn't trend number one on social media? Oh, you don't? Hoopfest does. Hoopfest does. So last Hoopfest, the official hashtag for last year was Hoopfest 2016. If you could guess it, the official hashtag for this year will be Hoopfest 2017. I told you we're creative. But it is true. Last year, both Saturday and Sunday, our hashtag trended number one in the world on all major platforms. So when we tell a story, again, it becomes really, really credible. And in the case of last year, really, really credible news. People were following. All eyes were on Spokane, we're on Hoopfest, and certainly on the partners and stories that we chose to highlight. So we're very, very fortunate there. What else we got? Oh yeah, right at 20 minutes. Perfect. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you. Hoopfest is cool. I don't know how else to tell you. There's a lot of people. It's built on the game of basketball. There's a little bit for everyone, from the playing, the volunteering, the sponsorship, or just the fans. What's that? It's a huge reunion weekend for those of you that come back to Spokane, or you live away from Spokane and come back to Spokane. You're only coming back 2 times a year. That's Christmas and Hoopfest. If you got to choose one, you're choosing Hoopfest. I mean, we already know that. So just keep coming back. Tell some friends, recruit some friends, make them believers. It really is a great, vibrant showcase weekend for our entire region. And we're really, really proud and work really, really hard to bring it to you in a successful and safe way each and every June. So June 24th and 25th this year is the tournament. We open up the doors, kind of our hours of operation start on Thursday, the 22nd. The 23rd, last year, for those of you that might be familiar, we started a brand new event called the Alumni Game. We featured last year was 41 Gonzaga University alumni, and we played a 5-on-5 indoor basketball game. And it was really, really well received. We do it at the convention center. We sell it out, about 3,000 tickets, and was sold out really, really quickly. Was an instant hit, instant success. We're going to do it again this year on June 23rd. Doors open at 5 p.m. Tickets go on sale June 1st. But this year, we're going to add a wrinkle and bring in another school because for me personally, again, my excitement around the game of basketball, really, really want to keep it competitive. Don't want it to be an all-star game. Don't want it to be an exhibition game. I want it to be safe, but I want it to be competitive. So in order to do that, we're going to have one school, obviously be Gonzaga because of the ties here in Spokane and the deep roots and history. And the second school we've invited this year is University of Washington. We feel like those kind of middle 2000 years, the rivalry was at its peak. It recently just got renewed this last season in the Gonzaga regular season, UW regular season schedule, or preseason schedule, excuse me. So we're going to try to bring some of those alums back and really try to ignite the fire of competitive and let those guys go at it. So that's a real fun kind of showcase event for us that helps launch the Hoop Fest weekend. That's on Friday, June 23rd. And I think that's my infomercial, y'all. I mean, that's all I can give you. I've tried, and so I'm sitting here on the living stage. I really appreciate Hotel RL for the opportunity to come out and talk about Hoop Fest a little bit. The organization and certainly the event. Again, lots of great ways to get involved. Come check us out. Sometimes the numbers or a guy telling you a story doesn't really, get you. But once you lay your eyes on this great, really world-class event, you really understand the passion and what makes it unique. And there's only one place that it happens, here in Spokane, Washington. Thank you very much.